I guess, man. I'm nervous. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do anything. But welcome, everybody. See, I already fucked up my words.
That was perfect. No, that was exactly.
I already fucked up my words. Welcome, everybody, to the Creators Lounge podcast, the podcast where we talk about everything creation, as far as what streaming, editing. Who else we got in here? We got
probably marketing,
editors,
entrepreneurship, and business growth,
graphic designers. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, the mastermind behind the Creators Lounge. Look at his pretty face. Milkman.
Mastermind's a strong word.
I'd say mastermind. Why not?
Well, you did, yeah.
If people don't know you, you got to start off strong. If I say mastermind, that's all they have to go off of. They could just be like, okay, I guess he's a mastermind then.
That's true. That's true. I got some things in motion a little bit, and luckily some people were nice enough to jump on board and help me turn it into something.
All right, so for sake of us being both a little fucking nervous, and I don't want this to sound scripted by any means, because truthfully it's not. I guess because this is the quote pilot episode.
Sure.
What the hell's the Creators Lounge, man?
We'll keep it real, man. We'll keep it real.
Let's keep it real, dude. What is it? I mean, this is all your idea. When I met you, you had this phenomenal idea.
That's probably a more complex question or answer than you think. The Creators Lounge right now is a little more than an idea of a place for people who want to create digitally to network. The idea is get everybody who's involved in any kind of creation and the entrepreneurship of creation. So, I mean, we're talking business consultants, we're talking, people who are in marketing, primarily, of course, graphic designers, content creators, streamers. Eventually, I hope to bring in some actual gamers. Sorry, now my kids are walking in the room, of course.
It's that dad life, man. The dad life.
It really is. It's great. It keeps you on your toes.
Full-time husband and father, and yet he's still out here trying to do a podcast with me.
Give everything 100%, literally. So that's like 5,000. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, the idea behind the Creators Lounge is just get everybody together who could have some part in digital creation. The original idea of it wasn't actually an online thing, like how it's built right now, and so I see this kind of as a pilot to the real thing when it really gets going. I'd like to bring people together in real life to be able to do the exact same thing, which is networking and working together to grow their digital businesses.
Yeah, because of course we have the Discord rolling, which obviously was not a part of the plan initially. Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, no, actually, I hadn't even considered Discord, so coming into that was unexpected, to be sure. But everything kind of landed in the right spot to start that going, and so far so good.
I don't even remember how we decided to make a Discord. You did, didn't you? Well, you created it essentially, but wasn't it because there was a lot of us in a group chat on here, wasn't it? And you just decided to kickstart it into a Discord because there ended up being way more people in that group chat than what there needed to be.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, obviously you were included in it. Discord limits those types of chats to 10 people. And we started to grow beyond that, and this idea that I'd already had in the back of my mind about this Creators Lounge in real life thing suddenly went click, and I thought, well, why don't we do it on Discord? Why don't we get it started here? I mean, we've got people for it; they're all in the right business for it. Starting out primarily gamers and streamers like yourself, and it just kind of became the base of it. So
yeah, I mean, the Discord, that was bad. We'll edit that out. I clicked on the wrong thing. We'll edit that out. All right. The Discord's kind of grown a lot, though, to be honest with you. Granted, I don't know about you, it's not as traffic heavy as what I thought it was going to be in the beginning. Like it's very much seems to be the same people that were in our group chat that were that are
Yeah.
actively partaking and talking in it. But of course, you have a whole new idea unraveling as far as trying to get different types of creators to get their input out there. Because right now, it's mainly just the streamers themselves, the people who are making videos, that are talking.
Yeah, right now it's definitely that core group and extensions thereof. So kind of people who've already been sort of in the same network. There's a few that came in, and we've grown to over, just under 50, I think now.
We have 50 people?
We have 50 people, yeah.
Holy cow.
I think there's 2 bots in there, so like maybe 49.
No, the bots count. AI is going to take over eventually one day.
Think what we can get. But yeah, the primary group that's been kind of organically coming have been graphic designers, and I think a lot of the reason for that is they target gamers, they target streamers, because they're the ones who want the logos and the emotes and things like that. Besides that, we've been really selective about who joins. If I don't see that somebody's gonna buy into it more than just popping in and giving themselves a role, then they can skedaddle. I mean, if you can't even muster up enough energy to introduce yourself, then bye.
Yeah, I mean, we had to put it in the rules that you had to introduce yourself, and
yeah,
some people do, some people don't. It doesn't take a lot of energy to introduce yourself, but some people still don't do it.
And that's just it. I mean, we're trying to create a community, which means we want to be able to get to know each other. I mean, we can't work off of each other and with each other if we don't know what each of us is doing. A graphic designer could pop in and be like, hey, I do this, 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 and this, and then ditch and just hope people click on their link. That's not community. I mean, that's ineffective marketing.
That's self-promo with extra steps.
It is, and it's not even an effective way of doing it. So but yeah, back to what you were saying as far as something that we'd like to do is, we're planning some events that are centered more around some of the artistic side, trying to get some of our graphic designers in place to get some promotion going for them. But also we've got a lot of gaming stuff coming down the line. We do our regular community events that we're going to get the ball rolling again here a little bit more on. There's been a lot of stuff going on over the last month for everybody. So, but we've got, gaming competitions that we're going to be doing all within the Creators Lounge. Some of these things we are going to open up to folks outside of the Creators Lounge in hopes that they'll come and then they'll stay and they'll participate.
Hopefully. I mean, that's the dream, right? Get more people in. I would like to see more people get involved, because with it being, for lack of a better term, as broad as it is regarding pretty much any type of content creation, regardless of what that is. Like we said, we got streamers in there, such as myself, such as you. A lot of graphic designers, from what I see.
There's 9 graphic designers.
Oh, is there only 9?
There's 9, yeah, that have taken on that role.
Oh, more than.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, if you join the Creators Lounge Discord, essentially what you do is you click on a role when you first join, and the roles are, I think there's ones for streamers, editors, designers.
Yeah, there's content creators, streamers. We've got places for lawyers if they so choose to participate in that. A lot of people need legal advice when going into a small business like that. Marketers, graphic designers, obviously, and supporters, of course. I mean, we welcome everybody as well. If you're not a creator yourself, but you support people who are, and you consume that type of entertainment, then of course you're absolutely welcome there as well.
100%. So the whole reason we are doing this podcast, it essentially was my idea, who I got some of the fellow mods to get on board with and then approach you with. The whole reason we're doing this is to just kind of talk about things as far as content creation goes, right? I mean, and all those different aspects. In the future, I'd like to get people who aren't just streamers. As of right now, it looks like it's going to be a lot of just streamers. But when people watch podcasts, all they see are people who already have huge followings. Like the first two podcasts that come to mind, not even have to do with like streaming or content creation, is Pat McAfee Show, which is a huge football podcast. They do it Monday through Friday for literally 3 hours, and they're massive. But he had a following prior to that because he was a professional football player. And then you have like the Joe Rogan podcast, which is huge. And anybody and everybody can set up a podcast nowadays. I mean, you name it, it's there. You even got true crime stuff for the people who like to hear about disgusting tragedies in life. But my girlfriend listens to that, and I'll be in the car and I'll take a nap and I'll wake up to hearing that stuff, and I'm like, bro, I need out. I don't feel safe. Whatever you're cooking up here, whatever you got planning, I don't want to be a part of it. Just recently found out she shares a birthday with Jeffrey Dahmer, which heightens the fear level to a whole nother level out here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if she's proud of that, for example.
Yes.
Like, yeah. Just so you know.
She is. That's the she gives you the dirty side eye and like kind of like chuckles a little bit to herself as she says it.
That's right.
So my fear of safety is at a very high level at the current moment in life.
Yeah, I'd keep your guard up. Sleep with one eye open.
I did just buy her an Xbox though, so I got about a week's worth of good karma on relationship standings.
Yeah. Well, and it keeps her occupied too, you know.
Yeah, she can.
About games, less time thinking about unaliving people.
Yeah, she can go play her Fall Guys, and I'll just sit in the corner and hope and pray that I don't get murdered in my sleep.
Fall Guys, I mean, that's a serial killer game right there.
That is her game, and I've never heard somebody use such colorful words while playing a child's game.
I believe.
I shouldn't say child's game. A lot of adults play it, but
I'll be playing Fortnite maybe.
I'll get angry at Fortnite too. Granted, I've gone away from it as far as streaming for me. I used to do a lot of the shooters, specifically Apex Legends, and I had to stop because I was getting too pissed off. But now I found a new route where I'm doing like pretty much Let's Plays and playthroughs, and I feel like I'm doing the right thing with this Batman stuff, dude. It's what I know, it's what I love, and people seem to be enjoying it. So
yeah, it seems to be taking off. Even if like I'll sit and watch your streams, like even if I just gotta like I'm listening to it in the background, it's interesting. Not just obviously the story of the game, but your commentary on it as well. And you know, it's one of those things that there's a following of that. So once you reach them, they're gonna be like, oh,
100%.
It's a sugar, or however that saying goes.
Yeah.
But I think that's the case with a lot of, especially smaller time streamers. I'm not saying you're small time. I know you're big time.
Yeah, no, okay, let's relax on that. I'm not big time. Ain't nothing big time about me. Maybe my nose. I got a big nose.
Big nose, all right. But you know, finding a game to play. I mean, if it's not a saturated game, then it's an unknown game that nobody watches, and all those big time streamers. And I think personally, I mean, in relation to the Creators Lounge, I think that's where you need a community of people who are going to support one another, promote one another, and you know, you're never going to overcome that hump of that guy that has 10,000 viewers every stream. But it doesn't hurt to take a little bit of a piece of the pie, you know.
Yeah.
So.
The problem is trying not to compare yourself to those huge people, you know. I've been stuck in that mindset too, where I'm like, I knew this guy when he was like here, now he's like here, and it seems like everything this person puts out is just like absolute gold, and I'm like, yeah, how do you do it, man? What are you doing?
Some people just hit it. So when I was young, I was always like after the girls. I mean, I'm married now, so I'm not.
He's a player. He's a player. Yeah, I'm sure.
No. See, that's just it. Is I wasn't good at it, but I had this buddy who like the girls just like swarmed to him, and he gave me the best advice ever. Cause I was like, yo, how do you do it? And he looks at me dead in the eyes, man, just serious as all seriousness, and he says, just don't try so hard. And I think behind that is not the idea of, you know, don't try hard to build something or make something of yourself, but don't do it for that end goal. Same thing, like if you're doing something, if you're streaming just to catch up with whatever the next streamer is to make those big dollar bills, you're doing it for the wrong reason. You're not going to do it. People are going to see right through you.
That's the huge thing with content creation, more specifically streaming, is people see people play games and they only know of the big guys and big girls, whatever you want to call it. I mean, you got your Pokemans, you got your Tim the Tatmans, you got your Nick Mercs, you got your... the list goes on. Yeah, and they're like, well, I could do that, just play video games and become fucking famous and whatever else. And that's just not... It does not work out that way at all. Yeah. And I've realized it too. I mean, I was in that same thought process. Granted, I never did it to make money. I still don't do it to make money. I mean, people will throw out subs every now and again. They'll do bits. I don't get donations. I don't really want donations. And then there's ads too, but I try to limit those. But that's a whole nother conversation regarding Twitch and ads. Twitch.
They're like, if you're gonna run them, you're gonna run them. Even
if you don't want to run them, I have mine set to practically 0 ads, and they'll knock somebody with 6 ads in a row, and I'm like, I have no idea why that happens, but
that's rough.
That's a whole nother conversation. But what I found out through my journey is definitely that this is what I appreciate doing, this is what I like doing, and I'm gonna continue to do it because it's not worth... I shouldn't say it's not worth the money. Sure, money's nice. Money makes the world go around, but I have a full-time job too, so I'm getting my money elsewhere. This is just something I want to do because it's enjoyable for me rather than sitting on the couch getting fat and playing games anyway, you know?
Yeah, and if it blows up, you know, all the better. You know, you gotta love what you do.
Man, blind squirrel finds a nut. Sometimes you hit the algorithm just right and something will pop off. Totally not referencing myself. Totally not.
Anybody hasn't checked out Almighty Senpai's TikTok lately, check it out.
It's all right. It's, you know, like I said, blind squirrel finds a nut. I have one good video over the hundreds of little short videos I have on there. I got one good one, and you know what? I'm just as happy with that as I would be with the standard numbers I was getting prior to that.
And you kept at it though. You keep doing it, and even if they're not getting the views, you get that one good one that hits. All of a sudden, you've got all these people who see it, which means now it's gonna snowball. More people will see it, and you know it may not hit that same height right away, but it keeps building and building. So you keep at it. That's the idea. That's the idea behind any business. I mean, how many small businesses will fail within the first year? I think it's something like 90%.
A lot. One just recently came back from the dead, and it died again within a year. G4 TV, they brought it back, and within a year, they're shutting it down.
Wow, there you go.
You know of G4 TV?
I don't know what that is, no.
Oh, okay. Well, G4 TV, when I was a kid, prior to YouTube kind of taking over the gaming world, essentially what it was is they had a bunch of shows dedicated to gaming and a bunch of other things, and it was great. They had shows like X-Play, Attack of the Show, and a bunch of other random stuff. But once YouTube kicked off and you had companies like Machinima and other people playing games on there and giving their opinions online on YouTube, it sunk G4. I mean, everybody was going there. They're shorter videos. At the time, there was no ads, and you could get the information you wanted way shorter than you could on this TV show, and you don't even know if that TV show is going to hit what you were looking for. So they decided to bring it back, and the company that brought it back, they never really like invested into it. Like they made it because they're like, yeah, you know, people love video games, you know, we'll bring it back and they'll do their thing and it'll be great. And they had some YouTubers on there like Gerard the Completionist and a couple others, but it didn't take off, and they're shutting it down, and it's been less than a year. I think it was like 8 or 9 months, and they're just like, there's no financial gain in this. We're calling it quits. We're out.
Yeah.
So that's the story behind G4.
You got a couple of different kinds of businesses, and the two primary ones that always fail are the ones that go into it and hit too hard, too fast, and fizzle out. And you got the ones that go in too slow, and by the time they've made any headway, their competition has already knocked them out of the game.
100%. but we're very good at tangents. And I realized that I realized that I was explaining why we created the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole reason, as I was stating before, was because, you got those big dudes and it's nice to listen to them, but when you get people from these lower things you can relate to more, it almost feels like there's something more to gain from these people who have more experiences with you if you're just starting out in content creation, regardless of how your means is. It's just nicer to hear something from these smaller dudes who are trying to make a name for themselves rather than the people who have already made it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's easy for somebody who's already made it to be like, oh yeah, do this, and this. It's a whole other thing to talk with somebody who's like, yeah, I'm struggling with that too.
Mm-hmm.
These are some things that I'm trying to do to overcome it. What have you tried?
Yeah.
It's
and
working with each other, it's working off of each other. So.
And if people are making content and like they came to me and like, hey man, I'm struggling on this short form platform like TikTok. Now I'm not big by any means, but I can tell you straight up, TikTok as a platform, they love continuity. They want consistency. So I upload twice a day, 5 days a week, and I'm working towards actually going to 3 times a day, 7 days a week, just because they want content out there every single day, or they will not push your content. Because like if you're just posting here and there, how are we going to give you a glimpse of hope in this world where millions of other people are out there pushing out content? So they won't say it, but what it feels like is like if you're not putting in the work, then we're not gonna help you.
They say it when it comes to things like their monetization platform, where you get nothing until you have 10,000 followers. Like, look, if you haven't worked hard enough for at least this many people to be following you, why should we invest in you?
And they make it harder to even get to just 1,000. The hardest part is getting to 1,000. Once you hit 1,000, you can start going live on their platform.
Yeah.
And then they'll even start pushing you even harder. It's like a tier system. Like you need to grind your rear off to get to 1,000. Once 1,000 hits, you hit like this another plethora of users who have that same like level of followage. And then they start pushing out your content even more. And then odds are, because a lot of people will take a while to hit 1,000 and then they
hang on just a second. Wow, it's pushing the wrong button. I can't mute you. Sorry about this.
Hey, you're fine. We got to take a break for the kids, so give us 1 second. So if you see a random cut in the footage, it's because we're cutting back into the conversation that we were having. This is what life is like when you're a smaller creator. You can't just dedicate time, full-time father. It is what it is. He'll be back in just a moment. Although facial expressions are pretty good. I don't know if you can hear me, but I was talking.
And we're back, and yes, I could.
That's really funny. Oh, that's really funny. I saw his little head pop in, and I was like, "Oh, dude, a little guest appearance!" And then you just like get out of the frame. Get out of the frame.
I don't know what that was. It was he was starting to talk, and he was talking over you. I didn't want him to.
I surprisingly didn't hear him, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Soft spoken.
He needed help with his sight words, so he wanted me to know that it was either like or look.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those.
That's important when you're a kid. Granted,
it's important to know which one you're talking about.
I'm a fully grown adult, 25 years old, and I still don't know English very well. And it's my only language. Actually, I know a little bit of Spanish. I know manzana means apple.
Bueno, podemos hablar español, pues. Vamos a hacer todo en español. Dice que hablas español, ¿sí?
Yeah, so TikTok, actually.
Yeah, back to that.
Yeah, once you hit 1,000, you hit another tub, essentially, and then they'll start pushing your content more, is all it is. And then hopefully, what you see with a lot of people is once they hit 1,000, that's when they just start really growing, and you can hit 10,000 relatively fast. It's still going to take time and work, obviously, with anything in this industry, but it's a little bit quicker than what it took you to hit 1,000.
Yeah.
most of
Yeah.
the time. I can't. It's not 100% guaranteed, of course, but
It's a concentrated industry. I mean, it really is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not easy to get into, and it's not a good profession to get into if you're only doing it for means. Like the old "don't quit your day job."
mhm.
That's very, very true. So,
Yeah,
and it's not for everybody.
if you're doing this strictly for money, hey, best of luck to you, because you're not gonna see any money in this. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll see some, but you're not gonna have any sort of means of a livable wage for a
Oh, no.
very long time.
Yeah, well, and here's another thing about it. You know, a lot of people will look at like streaming and content creation as, oh, it's a cash cow. Look at all the money these people are making, and so they'll be like a year out making content, and maybe they're good at it, maybe they're not. But don't see that money coming in. You got to remember that most small businesses don't turn a profit until the third or fourth or fifth year, I think it is. And
Really?
it's the same with this. Yeah, you're not going to turn a profit on it, because that's just not the way that it works, because it takes money to make money, you know, and it takes, in this case, time. You know, time is money. You put in a lot of work into your content. Maybe it cost you, you know, $3,000-$4,000 for your full setup, you know, to get just right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a one-time thing. You can pay it off, but it's still going to cost time, you know.
That's the big thing too,
So-
is a lot of people who get into this, they think that they need top of the line equipment just to start, but you
That's
don't.
another thing. That's one of the things too that like maybe I haven't had as much opportunity to push it in the Creators Lounge as much lately, but we've had a lot of people who have kind of joined almost reluctantly, and it's because they stream or they make content, but they don't believe enough in themselves. Oh, I need to have this before I can do this. And so a lot of what I've been doing with them is just do it. Just go for it. Just put your first video out. Just do your first live stream.
Mhm.
You know, it's not going to be great. You're not going to have 1,000 viewers, but you got to start somewhere, and you don't need all of these things to do it. I started streaming on my Xbox One and my 70-inch television, like from the Xbox. Like I was streaming just.
Oh, were you
straight
on
to
Mixer?
No, I came in after Mixer. Mixer
Oh,
this when I started.
wow.
So I was going straight to Twitch from my Xbox.
Wow, I didn't even know they had that integration.
Yeah, so you know, I eventually upgraded to a video card that I connected to my crappy laptop, and it was awful and never worked right. And then, you know, it's a step-by-step process, but you got to start somewhere. You know, a lot of people
100%.
start with games on their phone. I mean, the apps to do this stuff are free for the most part. So if you want to get into it because it's something that you enjoy doing, I mean, honestly, I'm not good at games. I enjoy playing games, but I enjoy going live because I like the idea of being in front of a camera and talking to people and doing like that kind of stuff. And you can tell, and I know you can tell, because whenever we do this kind of stuff, like I will talk and talk and talk. and it's not because I necessarily think I have something to talk about. It's because I enjoy doing it. And
The man loves his own voice.
I don't know. That's the funny thing about it. I honestly, I don't even look back on my own recordings because I hate the sound of my own voice. And that's probably bad because it makes it hard to do videos and stuff online. Sorry, my wife just dropped off another monster for me. Clearly,
Oh,
pick
dude,
me up.
me too. I'm on my second one as well. It's just one of those days.
yeah.
We are recording
is
this
what
on
it
a Monday. We have a case of the Mondays, probably.
Yeah, how it goes. But yeah, do it because you enjoy it. It doesn't have to be because you enjoy games. It doesn't have to be because you enjoy being in front of a camera. You know, do the part of it that you do enjoy, and if you enjoy it, it's gonna shine through. You're a great example of it because it shows so much when you play those Arkham games, dude. And you're like, oh, I gotta look back on my notes. I'm like, you sat through a game and took notes the last time you played it, and you're going back on those. Like, to me, that's like crazy. Like, I'll get to a hard point in the game and be like, all right, next game.
Well,
You know?
it comes down to when the Arkham games were released, when Arkham Asylum was released, I think it was 2008. I didn't have any means to play it, but my buddy had an Xbox 360, so I asked him. I was like, hey, if I buy this game, can I just play it at your house? He was like, yeah, that's fine. And I was such good friends with him that he didn't even need to be home, and I could just sit there and hang out with his dad and just sit on the couch, shoot the shit, whatever. And his dad would watch me play some Xbox and hang out, whatever. Or I'd be in his room if his Xbox was in there, no worries. But I was playing that game constantly. Now as a kid, I just know that I knew that I liked Batman. That was the same time that the Dark Knight trilogy was really starting to get underway, you know?
Okay.
I was just like, I like Batman. This is a Batman game. Let's go. Don't know anything about these characters. I don't even know who these characters are, but we're going to play them. I played Arkham Asylum. I beat it on every difficulty in New Game Plus, maybe 4 or 5 times. I got every single achievement on that Xbox within the first week. Like, wasn't messing around. Arkham City came out. That was 2011. I was a freshman in high school, I think. And
2011?
yeah, I graduated in 2015. It was either end of 8th grade or beginning of my freshman year. And I think it was the beginning of my freshman year. But I pretended to be sick for a week straight so I could sit home and play that game. I told my mom, my stomach hurts. I don't feel good. I lived off saltine crackers and 7-Up for a week so I could play that game for a week straight. Did the same thing.
Wow.
Arkham Knight came out. I was a senior in high school, then working at GameStop, and I got the game. I took off of work for a week. Same thing with school. Didn't go to school for a week, and I played the heck out of that game as well. Nice. Like I worked the midnight release we did for Arkham Knight. I planned the whole thing, and eventually they ended up trashing it. But the second it opened the following day, because my pre-order was through the GameStop I worked at, I was there when the opener walked through the door. Prior to the store even opening, I was in there. I had a key. I was like, I'm in there. I'm here. The second you open up this register, I'm cashing myself out and I'm leaving.
Nice.
So I did that. And yeah, I mean, the notes I took for it is just stuff over the years that I've known and remembered. And I only did that. I would have never done that if I wasn't doing content creation, but I only did that because while I play through them, I like to explain the Easter eggs that I know of, and there's stuff in there that I don't even know still. I mean, yeah. I was just editing today and I found a Easter egg that I didn't know it existed. But,
nice.
And well, I made a video out of it. I was just as surprised. But now I'm in full swing. I got this giant book here, and that's every single canon comic in the Arkham series, so I can really dig in this. And then of course we're 4 days away from Gotham Knights being launched as well, so I'm gonna dig deep in that. And it just shows your commitment to it, and it shows through in your streaming, and it shows through in the content that you derived from your streams as well. So. But that long story essentially is what it is. It's like when people say find your niche, it's huge, because I thought my niche was Battle Royale's Apex Legends. I didn't realize how much I hated Apex Legends until I started playing the Batman games. But it goes beyond just playing games. I mean, there's people on Twitch who are doing tons of different things. You got music, you got cooking, you got the hot tub streamers. I mean, do whatever it is that you enjoy, and people can see through you as far as like, if you're doing this to make money, if you're doing this because you think this is what people like, they're gonna see right through you rather than you doing what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, people aren't dumb. The consumers who watch the stuff that you put out, they're not stupid. Now, some of them can be kind of rude in the comments and they hurt my feelings, but
look, you can be stupid in other ways.
Yeah, everybody's a little stupid on the internet. Everybody's a little stupid. But
yeah, no, absolutely. If you want to do stuff IRL, if you want to, that's the whole thing. And look, the creators lounge isn't for everybody. I mean, you want to go be an accountant. Guess what? Streamers need accountants. Guess what? Content creators, small businesses need accountants. But yeah, I mean, it's not for everyone, but there is a place for everyone if they want to be a part of it.
That's huge. I'm quoting that.
But I mean, yeah, that's the idea: is do what you love, and you never work a day in your life, is the old saying.
100%.
But beyond that as well, is you're not going to be successful in it. You know, if you don't love to some extent what you're doing, you're not going to be successful in it. And that especially goes for, I mean, these are, we call it creative jobs, right? Artistic jobs, things like that, wherein you can't teach it in school. It's not something where you can, like an accountant, for example, you can go and you can learn the math and you can be good at the math and you can hate your job but be successful at it. With creative jobs, it's different in that you kind of have to have the feeling, you have to have the heart that goes with it.
You do, because if you don't, you're gonna get burnt out real quick, and you're going to quit eventually. Yeah. Because if it feels like a second job, nobody wants to work two jobs. Nobody wants to work two jobs.
That's right. That's why it's so easy for, I mean, guys like us. You know, we're of a well, you're young. Pastime was video games, so it's like, okay, we can still have a pastime of video games, work our job, and hey, we can add something to it by letting other people hang out with us while we're doing something we love and enjoy.
By watching Milkman get mad at a horror game.
I was so mad at that. I wasn't even afraid of the game. I was just angry.
A little backstory on that one for the people who are listening, who obviously may or may not have watched us stream or seen our videos. We played SCP Containment Breach multiplayer the other night, and Milkman was straight up not having a good time because he kept getting killed by the first SCP, and I've never heard him get angry at a game before. Not even the games you would think that a person would get mad at, like a Call of Duty or an Apex or a Fortnite. But man, this was something else. Myself and the other guy we were playing with, Aeolus, who hopefully we can have him on a podcast here very soon. Probably. We thought it was rather funny. You, on the other hand, did not. You did not enjoy it.
I understand.
Makes for great content, laughing at other people's pain. Because odds are the viewer's gonna laugh with you.
Well, that's the hope.
Or laugh at you.
They're laughing at you. You know what they say is there's no such thing as bad publicity, right?
Bad publicity, and if it makes you laugh, man, I'm all for it.
How many videos are out there of like stupid people doing stupid things or like getting themselves hurt? And those are the ones everyone watches.
It's too many.
So if that person's you, well, whatever, you're still getting that publicity, right? Too
many, and it goes beyond that. It's always those low quality videos that has like 7 pixels on there where like the most random things happen. There was a while, I mean, the trend that was happening, okay, maybe this is a long time ago, the milk crate challenge, where people were trying to like walk upstairs of those milk crates and people were falling over and like tumbling over them. I don't know if you've seen those. Maybe
I haven't. I don't want to.
Maybe it was longer ago than I think it was. Maybe I just like hit up some nostalgia for some people, but
yeah,
that was a thing for a while.
All right.
I don't know why. I wouldn't do it. I have enough health problems.
You remember planking though? I mean, like
planking,
yeah, where people would go out and just like plank on things, you know, just body stiff, just balancing on stuff.
Some sort of like fitness thing I don't know about.
No, that's the thing. You know, I mean, you act like you're a plank, you know, arms to your side, body stiff.
You just hang out like that?
You lie on something and you're doing it.
The equivalent of T-posing in a video game, but you're just planking in real life, or?
I suppose.
I don't know. That one goes over my head, and a
lot of stuff goes over my head. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm that dumb Gen Z guy who is supposed to know all of these things. But
hey, how about having these Gen Z guys come into your stream and try to speak their language to you? Man, I have a hard time with that.
That's funny because when they come into stream, well, for an example. What do you have for an example? Because if we're speaking too broad here, I have a feeling we're going to lose some people here.
For example,
Pog, that's one.
Like a Pog, yeah, like a Pog, for example. That's
POG.
A good one. And they got, yeah, I mean, we talked about that on one of my streams, and I'm just going, pogs are little cardboard round, you slam them. Maybe I'm aging myself here, but
well, it stands for play of game.
Yeah.
It's just them saying, hey, you had a great play or whatever else. You could go the other route, PAWG. But that's a whole other conversation.
The Sag thing for a long time.
Sag? Oh, that's just I think that's just
global
a meme.
Yeah, I mean, I get it now.
Milkman's our resident boomer.
This is true. Even the guys that are older than me aren't as boomer as I am.
I don't know. I mean, there's a few. I shouldn't say there's a few. There's one in particular in our group of mods here at the Creators Lounge.
I think he gets it more than I do.
He spends more of his time on the internet than you do, to be fair.
That is true.
He'll be on a podcast very soon, I'm sure, as well. He wants to be in here eventually. But for the pilot episode, I just wanted it to be the man who essentially created the Creators Lounge. Yeah, well, I always enjoy some alone time with you.
Sweet nothings in my ear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I went into a whole tangent about Arkham games and Batman and me being an absolute nerd. So I want to talk about you, obviously. Now,
all right.
You classify yourself as a streamer. Probably, right?
Yeah,
maybe husband and father first, but
yeah.
So
I mean, it's not what I do. It's just something I do.
Just something.
And I enjoy doing it. So yeah, I classify myself as a streamer, to an extent, a content creator. First and foremost, I consider myself an entrepreneur, though.
Would you consider yourself a variety streamer since
Oh yeah, well, 100%.
Yeah.
Look, my attention span is so short, I can't stick to a single game for more than a couple of streams in a row anyway.
I don't know, you were doing Valheim for a while.
Yeah, Valheim kept my attention, but we also had a lot of people who were kind of counting on watching us and playing with us. So that actually bore well into my reasoning for continuing that. But once we finished it, I jumped off it real quick because I got kind of bored of it. But I like those kinds of games, kind of open world build games, Satisfactory. I started in on The Forest, which I think I'd like it more if I had, I don't know. You see, even those types of games are kind of becoming somewhat boring to me. I tried October to do like a Halloween kind of scary game thing, which is why we're doing the SPC thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those games, again, they get boring to me. It's like once you kind of get what's going on, you're kind of like, all right, move on. So yeah, when we talk about being a variety streamer, I am probably ultimately, once I get really going on my stream, I'm like off the charts on that, because I mean, I'm going to be gaming, I'm going to be traveling, I'm going to be hopefully doing some arts and stuff like that as well. You've seen me work on my my firearms on stream and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'll do more of all of that. So yeah, again, it kind of comes back to do what you like to do what makes you happy, and those are the things that make me happy, and I just want to share them with other people.
There's a niche out there for that too. I mean, the hardest part about being variety, because I would consider myself that too, in a sense, not nearly on the level that you are, but people come in once they see that you have a certain type of content. It's almost like they come there for that. Once you're not doing that, they become disinterested. Now, you're going to have some people who are there strictly for you, and no matter what you do, they're going to support that.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, there's people who want to watch these certain things. So, like for me, when I grew on Apex, I was starting to get up there. But the second I stopped, now I'm back to like free affiliate numbers, which is a hard pill to swallow, but I value my mental health. So
Oh yeah.
I don't want to do that anymore.
Everybody plays Apex.
That's the thing too. It's very oversaturated.
Everybody plays
Warzone.
Game. Warzone. I mean, I'm gonna do a Warzone 2 launch and everything on my stream, but that's because I like the game. Again, it's because that's something I want to do. I want to share that with other people, and I'm skeptical, honestly, because I'm going, all right, this better not suck.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll find out together. But
I'll take part in the Warzone 2. Not streaming it, but I'll dabble in it. I already have it pre-ordered. So
I would rather have 50 people who came and watched my stream consistently, not always every time, but consistently spoke up in chat, hung out and talked, and make absolutely no money streaming, than have 5,000 people watching, nobody talking in chat except, doing the meme stuff, and only watch because I play something that I hate doing.
Yeah, 100%. Which ties into the community thing too, the community aspect. I mean, I know I stream because I want to build a community. That's what I'm about. I've made some better friends through streaming that I have throughout 4 years of high school, 3 years of college, and working in the military. So that's to me is what it's all about. Shit. If I get 10 people in there who are having a good time chatting it up, I'm through the roof in excitement,
Heck yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's always nice to see new people, and seeing yourself get popular is exciting, but a lot of it is really superficial. I mean, until you really are creating those relationships and that sense of community, and you got a lot of big streamers who do have that. I mean, one in particular who I, watching him actually kind of got me into this a lot is Stone Mountain 64.
Mm-hmm.
But he has this community based not just on one thing or another, and he's obviously he built that community up through YouTube and other things as well over the years. But that's just it. He built that. He's consistent in it, and he's made it fun not just for himself but for everybody involved.
He's been doing it for, I couldn't put a number to it, but a decade at least. Yeah, because I mean, I remember I never really watched him, but I knew of him, and a friend of mine would show me his videos. Like, I was back in 8th grade, aging myself very low in comparison, but still 8th grade. That was like, what? I mean, well, I've been out of school for 7 years. Yeah, I was like 11 years ago or so.
Yeah.
Oh, that was 11 years ago.
So many years ago.
Is this what it's like to have an epiphany of how old you actually are?
Yeah, and it's not the only time it's gonna happen. I'm gonna let you know now.
Oh no, I had one a few weeks back when I woke up the second day after drinking and still had a hangover. So I'm old enough now where I get 2-day hangovers, and that's enough for me.
They're making this booze different or something.
Yeah, they're stronger than they used to be.
That's what it is. Yeah.
I don't drink like I used to either, so that's probably doesn't help.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother story in advance there. But
the conversation for another day.
Let's see here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I had a whole list of things that we could have gotten into, but we're very good at tangents, so I'll just save them for another time.
Look, I have infrequent meetings with you guys, and I'm like 30 minutes. They have consistently gone at least 2 hours every single time. So
we like talking. We like talking. I like talking.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? And I love it because we love talking to each other. We hang out. You guys are my friends. I mean, outside of my, my wife and kids, I'm relatively reclusive, to be entirely honest. Like, I don't do a whole lot of social stuff, at least at this point in my life. But, yeah, love coming and talking with you guys.
I'm social Monday through Monday.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, it's online and doing all this stuff, and then Saturday and Sunday, I'm touching grass, as the kids say. I'm out there, all right? I'm doing events. I'm doing whatever else.
Good. Well, hopefully we can do some in real life Creators Lounge events. I've got some things that I'm looking at hopefully doing late next year. So
that was the thing, right? I mean, the Creators Lounge started as a physical location. Well, from what I understand, right? It's meant to be.
Going to be, yeah. And ultimately, that's the iteration that will be kind of its final iteration, is multiple physical locations.
One day.
Other things.
One day. Stay tuned. whenever that happens.
Because it's going to be a while. It's work, man. I mean,
give us 20 years.
There's a lot to do. So, what's that?
I said give us 20 years, but I think that's long. I'm not gonna put a
5
number
years.
on it. I'm not gonna put a number on it, but
It's within my 5-year plan. So
5-year plan. Now we're really getting old. Sheesh. I got a
Well,
week plan.
I hope you're still along for the ride. I know you're investing a lot into it. I appreciate that a lot.
Hey man, God willing, as long as I don't get smited somehow, I plan on being there.
Fantastic.
Unless the great Lord above decides to smite me where I sit, because I'm hardly ever standing.
I am more almighty than the.
Than the almighty senpai, yeah. But anyway, yeah. I think that about does it for this week. I mean, we were both nervous as all hell doing this, but it's just a conversation. I don't know why we were nervous. It's not like we don't like talking to each other.
Well, you got to think about it. Look, most of the time we have something prepared to go and say on the camera, whether it be a game or something we're talking about. We're kind of opening ourselves up here, being a little bit more vulnerable. People can see how we actually are in like a regular conversation.
100%. On stream, I'm very heavy into the story, or I'm a character. I'm not as chilled out as I am like this.
Yeah.
But well, if I'm about the story, talking about strikes and whatnot, then yeah, I'll be just as chill as I am. But other times, I'm wearing a Batman mask and a cape, and I'm jumping into my couch. So, stupid stuff
I
like
need to see
that.
more of that.
Yeah, more of that. I'm sure a lot of people want to see more of that.
I'll tell you what. You're streaming again. What, tomorrow, right?
Yeah, so yeah, I guess for the end of the podcast, we can kind of share what we do here. I don't think I said who I was in the beginning of this. I introduced you, but no, I didn't say who the hell I was.
Did you? Did you introduce me as Milkman or as David?
I said Milkman, but
okay, I wasn't sure. Yeah.
But
okay,
I'm Almighty Senpai, or nobody calls me by my government name, so I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, I stream over on Twitch Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central. I would say that there's an end time, but with a lot of the things coming out, I'm not really gonna have a scheduled end time anymore. Just know that I start at 6 p.m. Central, and variety for the most part. But what I got coming up right now is Gotham Knights comes out, and then once we get through that, which will never happen, we have the new God of War game that I'm going to be playing, then the Callisto Protocol, then Midnight Suns, and that's the stuff that I'm just streaming. But I'm also on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, if you want insight into my boring lifestyle where I sit and work from home and do a whole lot of nothing and sit in PJs all the time. But yeah, where can they find you, Mr. Milkman?
Well, hold on, let's make sure they know where to find you. That's almighty __.
Yeah, it's almighty __ senpai. Yes, 100%.
That's where you're gonna find him.
I didn't have that issue when I first created that name years ago back on the Xbox. I was the original Almighty Senpai, and now people have coined the term, and I was too late to Twitch, so I had to improvise.
You could always update it to the original Almighty.
the OG Almighty Senpai. But yeah, that's twitch.tv/almighty __ senpai.
That's right.
What about you, man? Where can people find you?
Yeah, well, if you want to catch me streaming, you're going to find me on Twitch at MilkmanBSGE. And I do other things on social media. I'm bad at it. I don't keep up on it, but I am on TikTok, Facebook. If you really want to find out what I'm doing, you're going to find me at the Creators Lounge. You're going to find me at facebook.com/the Creators Lounge. Actually, I think it's the Creators Lounge online now. But of course, we've got our Discord. Pop in, come hang out, be a part of our community. Yeah, join us.
Awesome. What a great first episode, man. We did great.
Next time we're doing shots.
Oh, hell yeah.